For this recipe, we'll be using the Calming Forage Blend. It's a specialized blend for relieving stress and anxiety. You can also use other forage blend flavors available in our shop. First, you'll need 1 cup and 3/4 of chopped Timothy second cut hay. I just roughly chopped this using some kitchen shears, but you can also use a food processor or a blender. You'll also need 1½ tablespoon of our Calming Forage Blend. To help bind the cookie together, you'll need 2 tablespoons of ground oats. Next, you'll need 1/4 cup pureed fresh apples or dehydrated apples. I'm using dehydrated apples for this recipe because I noticed that trees last longer when I use dehydrated fruits. Here are the tools you'll need to make the cookies. You'll need an ice cream scooper, a spoon, a dehydrating tray, and a cookie cutter. I'll be showing you 2 ways to shape this cookie using a cookie cutter or an ice cream scooper. You'll also need a mixing bowl, a pair of disposable gloves, it's only optional. A baking tray and aluminum foil or parchment paper is needed as well. First, wear your gloves if you have them, and then place all your dry ingredients in the mixing bowl. Stir your dry ingredients to evenly distribute the forage blend. This ensures that your guinea pig gets the calming properties in each bite. Add your pureed apple with the dry ingredients. I added 1/4 cup of water to my dried apples to rehydrate them. I forgot to mention earlier that you'll need water for this recipe. If you're using fresh apples, you'll need about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of water. Since I'm using dried apples, I ended up using up to 1 cup of water. The amount of water you will need will also depend on the size and ripeness of your apple. You might end up using more or less, so always add water gradually. Continue mixing and adding water until you get a workable consistency. At this point, you might even think that this batter will not hold up, but don't worry. The oats will work its magic after it absorbs enough water. I wanted to make this treat safe for guinea pigs to consume every other day, that's why I didn't add that much apples or oats. This also makes it faster to bake since moisture can be easily drawn out, which gives this healthy treat a crispy and fibrous texture. Continue mixing until the water is fully incorporated. After mixing, your dough should look like this. The next step is letting the oats thicken. Flatten the dough using the back of your spoon. When you press down, you should get a little bit of water coming out. This will make the oats stickier, which will bind better with the hay. Let it rest uncovered for 3 minutes. Okay, now for the fun part. Set your bowl aside, bust out your dehydrator tray, ice cream scooper, and cookie cutter. I'm using my smallest scooper, which is about 1 inch in diameter. You can also use any size as long as it fits in your dehydrator. I also have this circle cookie cutter with a 4-inch diameter and a 1/2 inch height. And I'm using this tray that comes with my dehydrator. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can also bake it in the oven. You can use your flat baking pan for this, lined with foil or parchment paper, to last longer, so I will be dehydrating most of my treats. But if you're baking this treat, preheat your oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, I forgot. You also need cling wrap for this recipe. Oh geez, I'm the worst at tutorials. It's like those times when you go to the grocery store and you're at the cashier and you forget your wallet. Since I'm so far out in the process of editing, I'm sorry. I'll include the full list of materials in the description box below. Okay, so grab your cookie cutter once you lay your cling on the table. This will make it easier to transfer cookies in the trays. Fill the cookie cutter with the dough and press it down to shape. Pressing it multiple times ensures that the hay sticks together. To transfer the cookie dough, place your palm at the bottom of the cling and slowly lift the cookie cutter. Place your other hand on top of the cutter and flip it on the tray. Release the dough by lifting and lightly shaking the cookie cutter. See how it took shape nicely? It's because we let the oats thicken. Okay, that looks good, so let's try that again. This time, I'll be showing you how to transfer it to a baking tray. We'll be following the same steps as we would if we used the dehydrator. If you're baking this, you want to make sure that you fill out the cutter. Your cookie will end up crumbling and it won't be easy to release if there are a lot of gaps in the dough. Let's transfer the dough same as last time. Using a flat palm, put your hand under the cling and lift. Get your baking tray and flip. Remove the cling and lift the cutter to release. Ta-da! Okay, so you can either dehydrate or bake this treat. If you're baking, bake it at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 to 3 hours or until crispy. For now, I'll be using the dehydrating tray since I'm drying this treat. Next, I'll be showing you how to shape them using an ice cream scooper. Fill the scooper with the dough and press firmly to shape. Release the dough from the scooper and shape if needed. Continue doing this until you run out of dough. If you're dehydrating this treat like me, let it dry for 24 hours at 140 degrees Fahrenheit. You must be thinking that's an outrageously long time to dry. But trust me on this, if you're making big batches of treats, you'll want to make sure it stays good for a long time. Dehydrated treats can last up to 3 months if stored properly. These treats last longer in a cool, dry place. If your humidity level in your home is about 30%, you can leave this out in a bowl on a dry counter. Otherwise, place it in a Ziploc bag or cookie jar to ensure freshness. The key thing to remember is to always keep these treats dry. Moisture is what causes treats to mold, so keep an eye on it. And we finally finished. I'll just pop these in the dehydrator and wait for it to fully dry.